The salt spray kissed Alistair Finch's face as the train neared Blackwood Cove, each rattle a countdown to inheriting Ethelgard in 1928. The Victorian mansion, shrouded in mist, felt less like a home and more like a forgotten secret. He, a 32-year-old botanist haunted by loss, soon found his path crossing with Serafina Bellwether, a 28-year-old art restorer, and a mystery began to bloom. If you're captivated by hidden histories and blossoming romance, subscribe and hit the like button. The secrets of Ethelgard await. The salt spray stung Alistair Finch's face as the train rattled along the coastline, each click of the wheels a metronome counting down to a future he hadn't chosen. He hadn't requested Ethelgard, hadn't even known the name until the solicitor's letter arrived. Now, the imposing silhouette of the Victorian mansion loomed against the gray sky, a Gothic sentinel guarding secrets he wasn't sure he wanted to uncover. He was a botanist, not an investigator, a man who preferred the quiet company of plants to the tangled webs of human history. But Ethelgard, and the legacy of its former inhabitant, Iris Blackwood, had a hold on him already. Ethelgard, a sprawling estate overlooking the quaint village of Port Blossom in 1928, held more than just overgrown gardens. It held a mystery. And within its walls, Alistair, a 32-year-old man haunted by a past he couldn't escape, would soon find his life irrevocably intertwined with that of Serafina Bellwether, a 28-year-old art restorer with a spirit as vibrant as the colors she brought back to life. The train lurched to a halt at Port Blossom's small station, a cluster of weathered buildings huddled around a bustling harbor. Alistair stepped onto the platform, the scent of salt and fish filling his lungs. The village was a patchwork of color, brightly painted houses clinging to the hillside, fishing boats bobbing in the harbor, and the cheerful chatter of locals, going about their day. It was a stark contrast to the somber mood that had enveloped him since receiving the news of his inheritance. He'd been living a quiet, almost reclusive life in the university greenhouses of Edinburgh, burying himself in his work after the accident. He pushed the thought away, a familiar ache settling in his chest. He wasn't here to dwell on the past. He was here to fulfill the terms of a will, to catalog the contents of a forgotten garden, and to hopefully find some semblance of peace. A weathered taxi driver, a man named Old Man Hemlock, as the station master informed him, greeted him with a gruff nod. "Ethelgard, is it? Up the hill she is. Takes a bit of doing, that drive. Road's seen better days." The drive was indeed arduous. The narrow, winding road climbed steeply, offering glimpses of the rugged coastline and the turbulent sea below. As they ascended, the landscape grew wilder, the trees thicker and the air heavier with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. Finally, through a veil of mist, Ethelgard emerged. It was even more imposing up close. A sprawling 3-story mansion built of dark gray stone, with turrets and gables reaching towards the sky. The windows were dark and vacant, like empty eyes staring out at the world. Ivy climbed the walls, obscuring much of the stonework, and the gardens were a riot of overgrown vegetation. It looked less like a home and more like a forgotten monument, a relic of a bygone era. Old Man Hemlock dropped him off at the wrought iron gates, a rusted masterpiece depicting intertwined vines and thorny roses. "Good luck to you, sir," he said, his voice laced with a hint of superstition. "Ethelgard, she's a place that holds on to its secrets." Alistair paid him and watched as the taxi disappeared down the hill, leaving him alone with the silent mansion. He pushed open the gates, the hinges groaning in protest, and walked up the long, winding driveway. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth, decaying leaves, and something else, something floral and strangely intoxicating. The front door was massive, made of dark oak and adorned with intricate carvings. He found a heavy brass knocker and raised it, the sound echoing through the silent house. After a moment, the door creaked open, revealing a stooped elderly woman with a severe expression. "You must be Mr. Finch," she said, her voice raspy. "I am Mrs. Gable, the housekeeper. I've been expecting you." Mrs. Gable led him inside, her footsteps echoing on the marble floor. The interior of Ethelgard was even more imposing than the exterior. High ceilings, ornate chandeliers, and Dark wood paneling created a sense of grandeur, but also of decay. Dust motes danced in the shafts of light that filtered through the stained glass windows, and the air was heavy with the scent of age and neglect. "The house hasn't been properly lived in for decades," Mrs. Gable explained, her voice devoid of emotion. Miss Blackwood, she was a private woman. She kept to herself, mostly in the gardens. She showed him to his room, a large, sparsely furnished chamber overlooking the gardens. "Dinner will be served in the dining room at 7, she said. "I'll leave you to settle in." Alistair thanked her and closed the door behind her. He stood for a moment, gazing out the window at the overgrown gardens. They were a chaotic tangle of plants, a wilderness of green and brown. But even in their disarray, he could sense a hidden beauty, a wildness that resonated with his own soul. He spent the rest of the afternoon exploring the house, room by room. The library, however, was different. It wasn't merely neglected. It felt preserved. Rows of leather-bound books lined the walls, and a large mahogany desk sat in the center of the room, covered in papers and botanical sketches. It was there he found it. The diary. Bound in worn leather, its pages filled with a delicate looping script. It belonged to Iris Blackwood. Her entries spoke of a passion for botany, a fascination with rare and unusual plants, and a growing sense of dread. She wrote of experiments, of a garden that responded to her touch, and of a discovery that could change the world. Alistair became consumed by the diary, spending hours deciphering Iris's notes and sketching her botanical illustrations. He learned that she had been particularly interested in a species of night-blooming cereus, a plant known for its ephemeral beauty and its rumored medicinal properties. But Iris believed it was more than just a medicinal plant. She believed it held a key to unlocking the secrets of life itself. The next morning, Alistair ventured into Port Blossom, hoping to learn more about Iris Blackwood. The village was even more charming in the daylight, the colorful houses gleaming in the sun. He made his way to the local historical society, a small, unassuming building tucked away on a quiet side street. Inside, he found a bustling scene. Volunteers were sorting through old photographs, cataloging artifacts and assisting visitors. A woman with fiery red hair and piercing blue eyes looked up from her work as he entered. "Good morning," she said, her voice warm and inviting. "Can I help you?" "I'm Alistair Finch," he replied. "I've recently inherited Ethelgard. I was hoping to find some information about the previous owner, Iris Blackwood." The woman's eyes lit up. Iris Blackwood. Oh, she was quite a character. "I'm Serafina Bellwether, by the way. I'm a restorer here at the Society." Serafina led him to a corner of the room where a large portrait of Iris Blackwood was propped against an easel. The painting was faded and damaged, but even through the layers of grime and decay, Alistair could see the striking beauty of the woman. She had the same intense gaze as the woman in the diary, the same air of mystery and intelligence. "This is the portrait that was donated to us a few months ago," Serafina explained. "It's in desperate need of restoration, but I'm slowly bringing it back to life." "She was a botanist, wasn't she?" Alistair asked. "That she was," Serafina replied. "A brilliant one by all accounts, but she was also eccentric. She kept to herself, spent most of her time in her garden, and was rumored to be conducting strange experiments." "Experiments?" Alistair asked, his interest piqued. "Oh, the stories. People said she was trying to create new species of plants to unlock the secrets of nature. Some even said she was dabbling in the occult." Serafina chuckled. Of course, it was mostly gossip, but there was always something unsettling about Iris Blackwood. Serafina shared local legends, whispers of strange occurrences in the garden and rumors of a hidden laboratory within the mansion. As they delved deeper into Iris's past, Alistair and Serafina discovered a shared fascination, a connection, that transcended their initial curiosity. They began to explore Ethelgard together, uncovering hidden passages, forgotten greenhouses, and a growing sense that they were not alone. One evening, while examining Iris's portrait, Serafina noticed something peculiar. A faint outline beneath the paint, a hidden symbol that seemed to resonate with a drawing in the diary. The symbol led them to a secret compartment behind the portrait, where they found a small, intricately carved amber pendant. As Alistair held the pendant, a wave of dizziness washed over him, and he experienced a fleeting vision, a glimpse of Iris, working in her garden, surrounded by glowing plants. The vision left him shaken and convinced that Iris's disappearance was far more complex than anyone had imagined. He knew with a chilling certainty that they were on the verge of uncovering a truth that someone wanted to keep buried. If you're captivated by the mystery of Ethelgard and the secrets of Iris, Blackwood, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. The journey has just begun, and the shadows hold more than they reveal. The scent of brine and damp earth clung to Alistair Finch's coat as he navigated the winding path leading from Port Blossom to Ethelgard. The village, a charming cluster of stone cottages and bustling shops, felt a world away from the brooding isolation of the mansion. He'd spent the last few days attempting to glean information about Iris Blackwood from the locals, a task that proved more difficult than anticipated. Most dismissed her as an eccentric recluse, a woman lost in her botanical pursuits. Others whispered of darker rumors, of strange experiments and a tragic disappearance. Serafina Bellwether, however, had offered a different perspective. Her grandmother, a lifelong resident of Port Blossom, had known Iris and spoke of her with a mixture of admiration and concern. Serafina had shared stories of Iris's kindness, her unwavering dedication to her work, and her growing obsession with the night-blooming Sirius. Alistair found himself drawn to Serafina's energy, her infectious enthusiasm a stark contrast to his own reserved nature. She possessed a rare ability to see beauty in the forgotten and overlooked, a quality that resonated deeply with his own appreciation for the natural world. He'd spent hours with her in the Port Blossom Historical Society, poring over old photographs and documents, piecing together fragments of Iris's life. He learned that Iris had inherited Ethelgard from her father, a wealthy merchant who had made his fortune in the spice trade. The estate had been in the Blackwood family for generations, a symbol of their wealth and status. But Iris had little interest in social gatherings or financial gain. She preferred the solitude of her garden, where she could immerse herself in her botanical studies. The diary, now carefully tucked away in his satchel, had become his constant companion. He'd spent countless hours deciphering Iris's meticulous notes, marveling at her detailed drawings and her insightful observations. He discovered that Iris had been particularly fascinated by the Sirius's ability to adapt to harsh environments, its resilience in the face of adversity. She believed that the plant held a key to understanding the fundamental principles of life, a way to unlock the secrets of regeneration and longevity. But her research had also led her down a dangerous path, a path that involved experimenting with rare and volatile substances. As he approached Ethelgard, Alistair noticed a figure standing in the garden, silhouetted against the gray sky. It was Serafina, her red hair a vibrant splash of color against the muted landscape. She was examining a section of the overgrown rose garden, her brow furrowed in concentration. He quickened his pace, eager to share his latest discovery from the diary, a cryptic reference to a hidden greenhouse concealed somewhere within the estate. "Serafina," he called out, his voice echoing across the grounds. She turned, a smile lighting up her face. "Alistair, I was hoping you'd come back. I think I've found something." She led him to a crumbling stone wall, hidden behind a tangle of ivy. "My grandmother told me about this wall. She said it used to be part of a larger structure, a greenhouse that Iris built specifically for her most delicate specimens." Alistair examined the wall, running his hand along the weathered stones. He noticed a faint outline, a subtle indentation that suggested a hidden doorway. "Iris wrote about a greenhouse like this," he said, his voice filled with excitement. "She called it her sanctuary, a place where she could conduct her experiments in peace." Together they began to clear away the ivy, revealing a narrow opening in the wall. It was barely wide enough to squeeze through, but it led to a dark and mysterious passage. Armed with a lantern, they ventured inside, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The passage opened into a large, circular chamber, the remnants of a once magnificent greenhouse. The glass roof had collapsed in places, allowing sunlight to stream through, illuminating the overgrown plants and decaying furniture. In the center of the chamber, they found a stone pedestal upon which rested a single withered flower, a night-blooming cereus. "It's remarkable," Serafina breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. "Even in this state, it's still beautiful." Alistair carefully examined the flower, noting its delicate petals and its intricate structure. He noticed a faint, almost imperceptible glow emanating from the stem. "Iris wrote about this glow," he said. "She believed it was a sign of the plant's unique energy, its connection to the natural world." As he touched the flower, he felt a surge of energy, a tingling sensation that ran through his veins. He had a fleeting vision, a glimpse of Iris tending to her garden, her face radiant with joy. The vision left him shaken and convinced that Iris's spirit was still present at Ethelgard. But their exploration of the greenhouse was interrupted by a sudden noise, a rustling in the bushes followed by a muffled voice. They quickly extinguished the lantern, plunging the chamber into darkness. "Who's there?" Alistair called out, his voice trembling slightly. A figure emerged from the shadows, a tall, imposing man with a stern expression. He was dressed in a dark suit and carried a walking stick. "I am Silas Blackwood," he said, his voice cold and authoritative. Iris's brother. Alistair and Serafina exchanged nervous glances. They had heard rumors of Silas Blackwood, a wealthy industrialist who had been estranged from Iris for many years. He was known for his ruthless ambition and his disregard for the environment. "What are you doing here?" Alistair asked, trying to sound confident. "I came to see what you've been up to," Silas replied, his eyes scanning the chamber. "I've been hearing rumors about your investigation, about your interest in Iris's work. I must warn you, some things are best left undisturbed." He paused, his gaze fixed on the withered cereus. Iris was a brilliant woman, but she was also misguided. She delved into areas she didn't understand, and she paid the price. Serafina stepped forward, her voice firm. "What do you mean, she paid the price?" Silas hesitated, his expression darkening. "Let's just say that her experiments had unintended consequences. She attracted the attention of people who wanted to exploit her research for their own purposes." He turned to Alistair. "I suggest you abandon your investigation and leave Ethelgard, for your own safety." Alistair refused to be intimidated. "We're not afraid of you, Mr. Blackwood. We're determined to uncover the truth about Iris's disappearance." Silas let out a cold laugh. "You're playing a dangerous game, Mr. Finch. A game you don't understand." He turned and walked away, disappearing into the shadows. Alistair and Serafina were left alone in the greenhouse, shaken and disturbed by their encounter with Silas. They knew that he was hiding something, that he was involved in Iris's disappearance, and they were determined to find out what it was. The following days were filled with relentless research and clandestine exploration. Alistair focused on deciphering Iris's more obscure notes, while Serafina continued to investigate the local archives. They discovered that Iris had been working with a team of botanists and chemists, conducting experiments on the cereus in a secret laboratory hidden beneath Ethelgard. The laboratory, Iris wrote, was equipped with state-of-the-art equipment and contained a vast collection of botanical specimens. But access to the laboratory was restricted, guarded by a complex series of locks and traps. Serafina, with her expertise in art restoration and her knack for solving puzzles, managed to decipher the clues hidden within Iris's paintings, revealing the location of the laboratory entrance. It was concealed behind a bookcase in the library, disguised as a panel. Together they activated the hidden mechanism, revealing a narrow staircase leading down into the darkness. The laboratory was a marvel of Victorian engineering, a testament to Iris's ingenuity and her unwavering dedication to her work. Rows of glass vials and beakers lined the walls, filled with colorful liquids and strange concoctions. Microscopes and analytical instruments sat on workbenches, surrounded by stacks of research notes and botanical specimens. In the center of the laboratory, they found a large cylindrical chamber designed to contain the Sirius during experiments. The chamber was equipped with a complex system of lights and sensors, designed to monitor the plant's growth and energy levels. Alistair examined the chamber, noting the intricate details of its construction. He realized that Iris had been attempting to create a controlled environment, a space where she could manipulate the Sirius's properties and unlock its full potential. But he also discovered something disturbing: evidence of a failed experiment, a catastrophic event that had resulted in a massive energy surge. The walls of the chamber were scorched and cracked, and the air was thick with the smell of ozone. "What happened here?" Serafina asked, her voice filled with concern. Alistair shook his head. "I don't know, but it looks like something went terribly wrong." As they continued to explore the laboratory, they found a hidden compartment containing Iris's personal journals. The journals revealed a darker side to Iris's research, a growing obsession with the Sirius's potential for manipulation and control. She had discovered that the plant's energy could be harnessed to influence the human mind, to alter perceptions and emotions. She had even begun to experiment on herself, using the Sirius to enhance her psychic abilities. But her experiments had come at a cost. She had become increasingly isolated and paranoid, convinced that she was being watched by shadowy figures. She wrote of a secret society, known as the Obsidian Society, who sought to exploit the Sirius's properties for their own nefarious purposes. The Obsidian Society, she believed, was led by her brother, Silas Blackwood. The journals also revealed a shocking truth about the amber pendant. It wasn't just a decorative piece of jewelry. It was a key, a conduit for the Sirius's energy. Iris had used the pendant to amplify her psychic abilities, to communicate with the plant, and unlock its secrets. Alistair remembered the vision he had experienced when he first touched the pendant, the fleeting glimpse of Iris working in her garden. He realized that the pendant was more than just a relic of the past. It was a powerful tool, capable of unlocking hidden dimensions of reality. As they delved deeper into Iris's journals, Alistair and Serafina began to suspect that Silas Blackwood wasn't just interested in exploiting the Sirius's properties. He was trying to recreate Iris's experiments, to weaponize the plant, and control the minds of others. They knew that they had to stop him, but they were running out of time. Silas was closing in, and they were increasingly aware of being watched. One evening, as they were leaving the laboratory, they were ambushed by a group of Silas's mercenaries. A fierce struggle ensued, a desperate fight for survival. Alistair, despite his lack of physical training, used his knowledge of botany to his advantage, creating distractions and exploiting the environment. Serafina, armed with a restored antique pistol she'd found in Ethelgard, fought with a fierce determination, protecting Alistair and defending Iris's legacy. They managed to fend off the mercenaries, but they were wounded and exhausted. They knew that they couldn't stay at Ethelgard any longer. They had to find a way to expose Silas's plans and bring him to justice. They decided to seek help from the authorities in Port Blossom, but they were wary of trusting anyone. They suspected that Silas had infiltrated the local police force, and they didn't want to risk alerting him to their plans. They turned to an old friend of Serafina's grandmother, a retired detective named Inspector Davies. Davies was a gruff but honest man, known for his integrity and his unwavering commitment to justice. He listened to their story with a skeptical expression, but he agreed to investigate. He began by discreetly questioning Silas's associates, gathering evidence of his illegal activities. He discovered that Silas had been secretly funding a research facility located on a remote island off the coast of Port Blossom. The facility was dedicated to studying the Sirius and developing new applications for its energy. Davies also uncovered evidence of Silas's involvement in a series of suspicious deaths, including the disappearance of several botanists and chemists who had worked with Iris. With Davies's help, Alistair and Serafina prepared to confront Silas and expose his plans to the world. They knew that it would be a dangerous undertaking, but they were determined to honor Iris's legacy and protect the future of Ethelgard. The final confrontation was set to take place at the research facility on the island, a remote and isolated location shrouded in secrecy. Alistair and Serafina, accompanied by Inspector Davies and a team of police officers, set sail for the island, bracing themselves for the battle ahead. The fate of Ethelgard, and perhaps the world, hung in the balance. The salt spray stung Alistair Finch's face as the train rattled along the coastline, each click of the wheels a metronome counting down to a future he hadn't chosen. He hadn't requested Ethelgard, hadn't even known the name until the solicitor's letter arrived. Now, the imposing silhouette of the Victorian mansion loomed against the gray sky, a Gothic sentinel guarding secrets he wasn't sure he wanted to uncover. He was a botanist, not an investigator, a man who preferred the quiet company of plants to the tangled webs of human history. But Ethelgard, and the legacy of its former inhabitant, Iris Blackwood, had a hold on him already. Ethelgard, a sprawling estate overlooking the quaint village of Port Blossom in 1928, held more than just overgrown gardens. It held a mystery. And within its walls, Alistair, a 32-year-old man haunted by a past he couldn't escape, would soon find his life irrevocably intertwined with that of Serafina Bellwether, a 28-year-old art restorer, with a spirit as vibrant as the colors she brought back to life. The air inside Ethelgard was thick with the scent of dust and decay. Sunlight struggled to penetrate the stained glass windows, casting long, eerie shadows across the ornate furniture. Alistair, accustomed to the controlled environment of greenhouses, felt a prickle of unease. He began to explore, room by room, each space a frozen tableau of a life abruptly left behind. The library, however, was different. It wasn't merely neglected, it felt preserved. Rows of leather-bound books lined the walls, and a large mahogany desk sat in the center of the room, covered in papers and botanical sketches. It was there. He found it. The diary. Bound in worn leather, its pages filled with a delicate looping script, it belonged to Iris Blackwood. Her entries spoke of a passion for botany, a fascination with rare and unusual plants, and a growing sense of dread. She wrote of experiments, of a garden that responded to her touch, and of a discovery that could change the world. Alistair became consumed by the diary, spending hours deciphering Iris's notes and sketching her botanical illustrations. He learned that she had been particularly interested in a species of night-blooming cereus, a plant known for its ephemeral beauty and its rumored medicinal properties. But Iris believed it was more than just a medicinal plant. She believed it held a key to unlocking the secrets of life itself. His research led him to Port Blossom, a charming coastal village nestled below Ethelgard. He sought out the local historical society, hoping to find more information about Iris Blackwood. It was there he met Serafina Bellwether, a whirlwind of energy and color, meticulously restoring a portrait of Iris that had been donated to the society. Serafina, with her fiery red hair and piercing blue eyes, was immediately intrigued by Alistair's interest in Iris. She had grown up hearing stories about the mad botanist of Ethelgard, a woman who had vanished without a trace decades ago. She shared local legends, whispers of strange occurrences in the garden and rumors of a hidden laboratory within the mansion. As they delved deeper into Iris's past, Alistair and Serafina discovered a shared fascination, a connection that transcended their initial curiosity. They began to explore Ethelgard together, uncovering hidden passages, forgotten greenhouses, and a growing sense that they were not alone. One evening, while examining Iris's portrait, Serafina noticed something peculiar. A faint outline, beneath the paint a hidden symbol that seemed to resonate with a drawing in the diary. The symbol led them to a secret compartment behind the portrait, where they found a small, intricately carved amber pendant. As Alistair held the pendant, a wave of dizziness washed over him, and he experienced a fleeting vision, a glimpse of Iris, working in her garden surrounded by glowing plants. The vision left him shaken and convinced that Iris's disappearance was far more complex than anyone had imagined. He knew, with a chilling certainty, that they were on the verge of uncovering a truth that someone wanted to keep buried. The amber pendant became a focal point of their investigation, a key that seemed to unlock fragments of Iris's memory. Alistair discovered that the pendant contained a rare type of resin, known for its preservative properties and its ability to amplify psychic energy. Iris, it seemed, had been experimenting with ways to enhance her connection to the plant world. To tap into the hidden consciousness of nature, their search for answers led them to the abandoned greenhouse, a crumbling structure overgrown with vines and shrouded in mist. Inside, they found remnants of Iris's experiments, strange contraptions, alchemical equipment, and rows of empty pots. But one pot was different. It contained a single withered stem, a remnant of the night-blooming cereus that Iris had been so obsessed with. As Alistair touched the stem, he felt a surge of energy, a connection to Iris that was both exhilarating and terrifying. He began to experience vivid dreams, filled with images of Iris's garden, her experiments, and a shadowy figure lurking in the background. Serafina, meanwhile, focused on deciphering the hidden messages within Iris's paintings. She discovered that Iris had encoded clues within her artwork, using botanical symbolism and hidden patterns to reveal the location of her secret laboratory. The laboratory was hidden beneath Ethelgard, accessible through a concealed passage in the library. Inside, they found a treasure trove of botanical specimens, research notes, and a disturbing collection of journals detailing Iris's descent into obsession. Iris had discovered that the night-blooming cereus possessed extraordinary properties. It could accelerate plant growth, enhance healing, and even prolong life, but it came at a cost. The plant required a rare and volatile element, extracted from a deep-sea coral found only in the treacherous waters off Blackwood Isle, to thrive. And the extraction process was dangerous, both to the environment and to those involved. Iris had become convinced that she could use the cereus to create a utopian society, a world where disease and suffering were eradicated. But her experiments had attracted the attention of a powerful and secretive organization known as the Obsidian Society, who sought to exploit the plant's properties for their own nefarious purposes. The Obsidian Society, led by a ruthless industrialist named Silas Blackwood, Iris's estranged brother, had been monitoring Iris's research for years. They had tried to persuade her to join their ranks, but she had refused, fearing the consequences of their ambition. Silas, driven by greed and a thirst for power, had orchestrated Iris's disappearance, hoping to steal her research and control the cereus for himself. Alistair and Serafina realized that they were not just unraveling a mystery, they were caught in a dangerous game, a battle for the future of the plant and the fate of Ethelgard. They knew that Silas was watching them, waiting for them to make a mistake, and as they delved deeper into Iris's secrets, they began to suspect that someone within Port Blossom was working with the Obsidian Society, feeding them information and sabotaging their efforts. Old Man Hemlock, the gruff owner of the Mariners' Rest Tavern, seemed to know more than he let on, his eyes following them with unsettling intensity. Even Constable Davies, the village's seemingly harmless law enforcement officer, appeared overly eager to dismiss their concerns. The tension mounted, and the line between ally and enemy blurred. A cryptic message hidden within Iris's final journal entry hinted at a hidden sanctuary, a place where Iris had concealed the most valuable specimens of the cereus. The sanctuary, she wrote, was protected by a guardian of the bloom, a creature of myth and legend. Following Iris's clues, Alistair and Serafina ventured into the treacherous coastal caves beneath Port Blossom, a labyrinth of hidden tunnels and submerged chambers. They discovered that the guardian of the bloom was not a mythical creature, but a colony of bioluminescent jellyfish genetically modified by Iris to protect the cereus sanctuary. The jellyfish emitted a powerful neurotoxin, capable of paralyzing anyone who dared to approach. Serafina, using her knowledge of art restoration and chemical compounds, devised a way to neutralize the toxin, allowing them to navigate the cave safely. They finally reached the sanctuary, a hidden grotto bathed in the ethereal glow of the jellyfish. There they found a thriving garden of night-blooming cereus, carefully cultivated by Iris. But Silas Blackwood was waiting for them. He had followed them into the caves, accompanied by a team of armed mercenaries. A fierce confrontation ensued, a desperate struggle for control of the Sirius. Alistair, despite his lack of physical prowess, used his knowledge of botany to his advantage, creating distractions and exploiting the environment. He released a cloud of pollen from a rare hallucinogenic orchid, disorienting the mercenaries. Seraphina, armed with a restored antique pistol she'd found in Ethelgard, fought with a fierce determination, protecting Alistair and defending Iris's legacy. During the chaos, Silas revealed the truth about his motives. He wasn't interested in healing the world. He wanted to weaponize the Sirius, to create a super soldier serum that would give him ultimate power. He believed that Iris had been naive, blinded by her idealism. But Alistair and Seraphina refused to let him succeed. In a climactic showdown, Alistair used a rare enzyme extracted from the Sirius to disrupt Silas's nervous system, temporarily paralyzing him. Seraphina, with the help of the local authorities, Constable Davies, revealed to be an unwilling accomplice of the Obsidian Society, turned against Silas at the last moment, apprehended Silas and his mercenaries, bringing an end to the Obsidian Society's reign of terror. With Silas defeated, Alistair and Seraphina turned their attention to preserving Iris's research. They established a botanical foundation dedicated to studying the Sirius and harnessing its medicinal properties for the benefit of humanity. Ethelgard was transformed into a research center, a place where scientists and botanists could collaborate and explore the wonders of the plant world. The gardens, once overgrown and neglected, were restored to their former glory, a testament to Iris's vision and Alistair's dedication. They discovered that Iris had left behind detailed instructions for cultivating the Sirius sustainably, without harming the delicate ecosystem of Blackwood Isle. The Foundation also focused on developing alternative methods for extracting the vital element from the deep-sea coral, minimizing the environmental impact. Alistair, finally finding peace and purpose, continued to live at Ethelgard, tending to the garden and honoring Iris's memory. He spent hours studying her journals, deciphering her notes, and experimenting with new techniques for harnessing the power of the Sirius. He found solace in the quiet rhythm of the garden, surrounded by the plants that Iris had loved so dearly. Seraphina, meanwhile, used her artistic talents to create a museum within Ethelgard, showcasing Iris's paintings, botanical illustrations, and research notes. The museum became a popular destination for visitors from all over the world, attracting botanists, art enthusiasts, and anyone interested in the story of the mad botanist of Ethelgard. She also continued to restore artwork, finding joy in bringing forgotten masterpieces back to life. As the Foundation flourished, Alistair and Seraphina began to uncover more secrets about Iris's past. They learned that she had been a pioneer in the field of plant neurobiology, studying the ways in which plants communicate and respond to their environment. She had also been a vocal advocate for environmental conservation, warning about the dangers of deforestation and pollution. Her work had been largely ignored during her lifetime, but it was now being recognized as groundbreaking and visionary. They discovered a hidden correspondence between Iris and a renowned botanist from Vienna, Dr. Leopold Steiner, who had shared her passion for plant consciousness. Dr. Steiner had provided Iris with valuable insights and resources, helping her to advance her research. He had also warned her about the dangers of the Obsidian Society, urging her to be cautious. The letters revealed that Iris had been working on a revolutionary theory, that plants possessed a collective intelligence, a hidden network of communication that connected all living things. She believed that by tapping into this network, humans could gain a deeper understanding of the natural world and unlock the secrets of life itself. Alistair and Seraphina realized that Iris's research was far more profound than they had initially imagined. She wasn't just a botanist, she was a visionary, a pioneer who had dared to challenge the conventional wisdom of her time. They felt a deep sense of responsibility to continue her work, to share her discoveries with the world. As the years passed, Ethelgard became a beacon of hope and innovation, a place where science and art converged to create a better future. The Foundation attracted talented researchers from all over the globe, who collaborated on projects ranging from sustainable agriculture to the development of new medicines. The Sirius, carefully cultivated and studied, yielded a wealth of knowledge, leading to breakthroughs in the treatment of various diseases. Alistair and Seraphina, their bond strengthened by their shared adventure, fell deeply in love. Their lives intertwined with the secrets of the past and the promise of the future. They married in the gardens of Ethelgard, surrounded by the fragrant blooms of the night-blooming Sirius. Their wedding was a celebration of love, science, and the enduring power of nature. They had a daughter, Ilara, who inherited her mother's artistic talent and her father's love of botany. Ilara grew up exploring the gardens of Ethelgard, learning about the plants and the secrets they held. She eventually followed in her parents' footsteps, becoming a botanist and continuing their work. One evening, decades after the defeat of Silas Blackwood, Alistair and Seraphina sat on the veranda of Ethelgard, watching the sunset over Port Blossom. The gardens were bathed in a golden light and the air was filled with the scent of flowers. Ilara, now a young woman, joined them, holding a small, intricately carved amber pendant. It was the same pendant that Alistair and Seraphina had found hidden behind Iris's portrait, the key that had unlocked the secrets of Ethelgard. "I've been studying Iris's journals," Ilara said, "and I think I've discovered something new." She explained that Iris had been working on a way to amplify the Sirius's healing properties, using the amber pendant as a conduit for energy. She believed that the pendant could be used to create a powerful healing elixir, capable of curing even the most debilitating diseases. Alistair and Seraphina exchanged a knowing glance. They knew that Iris's research was far from over. There were still secrets to be uncovered, mysteries to be solved. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the gardens, Alistair reached for Seraphina's hand. He felt a surge of gratitude for the life they had built together, a life filled with love, adventure, and the enduring beauty of the natural world. He knew that their journey was far from over. The legacy of Iris Blackwood would continue to inspire them, guiding them towards new discoveries and new possibilities. The night-blooming Sirius, bathed in the moonlight, seemed to glow with an otherworldly light, a symbol of hope and renewal. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, beauty and wonder can still be found. And as they sat there, hand in hand, Alistair and Seraphina knew that they were exactly where they were meant to be, guardians of a legacy that would endure for generations to come. The wind whispered through the gardens, carrying the scent of flowers and the echoes of the past. It was a reminder that the story of Ethelgard was not just a tale of mystery and adventure. It was a testament to the power of love, the resilience of the human spirit, and the enduring magic of the natural world. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Alistair turned to Seraphina, a gentle smile gracing his lips. "You know," he said softly, "I never imagined my life would lead me here, to this place, to you, to this extraordinary legacy." Seraphina leaned her head against his shoulder, her eyes sparkling with affection. "Neither did I," she replied, "but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, savoring the peace and tranquility of the evening. Then Ilara spoke, her voice filled with excitement. "I think I'm getting closer to unlocking the secret of the elixir," she said. "I've identified a rare enzyme in the Sirius that seems to be the key." Alistair and Seraphina exchanged a look of anticipation. They knew that Ilara was on the verge of a major breakthrough. The possibilities were endless. The elixir could revolutionize medicine, offering hope to millions of people around the world. But they also knew that with great power comes great responsibility. They had to ensure that the elixir was used for good, that it didn't fall into the wrong hands. As they discussed the implications of Ilara's discovery, they realized that their journey was far from over. The secrets of Ethelgard were still unfolding, revealing new challenges and new opportunities. They were committed to continuing Iris's work, to honoring her legacy, and to making the world a better place. The night-blooming Sirius, bathed in the moonlight, seemed to pulse with energy, a symbol of hope and renewal. It was a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit can triumph, And as they sat there, surrounded by the beauty of the gardens, Alistair and Seraphina knew that they were exactly where they were meant to be, guardians of a legacy that would endure for generations to come. The air was filled with the scent of flowers and the promise of a brighter future. It was a moment of perfect peace, a moment of profound gratitude. And as they looked out over the gardens, they knew that the story of Ethelgard was far from over. It was a story that would continue to unfold, revealing new mysteries and new adventures. The legacy of Iris Blackwood lived on, not just in the Botanical Foundation and the museum at Ethelgard, but also in the hearts of those who had been touched by her story. Visitors from all over the world came to Port Blossom, drawn by the legend of the mad botanist and the magic of the night-blooming cereus. They walked through the gardens, marveling at the rare and unusual plants and learning about Iris's groundbreaking research. They visited the museum, admiring her paintings and botanical illustrations and gaining a deeper understanding of her vision. And they left Ethelgard with a renewed sense of hope and a deeper appreciation for the natural world. The Foundation also established a scholarship program providing financial assistance to students pursuing careers in botany and environmental conservation. The program helped to cultivate a new generation of scientists and researchers dedicated to protecting the planet and preserving its biodiversity. Alistair and Seraphina continued to work tirelessly, overseeing the Foundation's operations and guiding its research efforts. They were a formidable team, their skills and talents complementing each other perfectly. Alistair's knowledge of botany and Seraphina's artistic vision combined to create a unique and powerful synergy. They were respected and admired by their colleagues, and they were known for their unwavering commitment to their mission. As the years passed, Ethelgard became a symbol of hope and inspiration, a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the enduring beauty of nature. It was a place where dreams could come true, where possibilities were endless and where the spirit of Iris Blackwood lived on. And as the sun set over Port Blossom, casting a golden glow on the coastline, Alistair and Seraphina knew that they had created something truly special, a legacy that would endure for generations to come. They had found love, purpose, and a sense of belonging in the most unexpected of places, and they were grateful for every moment of their extraordinary journey. If you enjoyed this story of mystery, romance, and botanical wonder, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting the like button. Your support helps us bring more captivating tales to life. And remember, the greatest discoveries often lie hidden in the most unexpected places.